Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I will be making my prediction table for the Premier League 23-24 season. Let's get straight into it. So relegation, I think it's simple enough. 20th, I'm going Sheffield United. Uh, what is even the point with Sheffield United? They just got promoted back to the Premier League and they sold two of their best players. Losing Ndia and Sander Berg will hit this team hard, and they haven't signed anyone that's interesting or will ultimately affect their season. Bottom of the table is where this team deserves to finish. 19th, Wolves, same as Sheffield United, for different reasons. FFP has really affected Wolves this year, letting key players like Ruben Neves, Raul Jimenez, Adama Traore, Connor Cody and Nathan Collins leave this window hasn't helped their case for finishing any higher. Losing manager Lopetegui will be a huge miss for this club as well. Appointing Gary O'Neill as his replacement might be good, but I don't think he can do anything about this disaster Wolves are experiencing. They've only signed Matt Doherty as well, as a free agent. I love seeing him back at Wolves, but what a terrible situation he's got himself into. So 19th for Wolves. 18th, this is probably a big shock. Probably the biggest shock on the list. I've gone with Fulham. I think Fulham and Marco Silva last season played beautiful football. Finishing 10th in the Premier League is no easy feat. So I think it was well deserved for them last year. Alexander Mitrovic, Andreas Pereira, Solomon, those type of players did really well for that club. But I don't think they can do much. Solomon hasn't returned. He went to Spurs. I think second season syndrome is going to hit this club. And their preseason hasn't helped them. I think it was very underwhelming and it might correlate to what we might see in the season. I don't think Fulham have the materials to stay up, so that's why I've put them 18th. 17th, another shock, Luton Town. Luton Town will stay up. I'm telling you, take my word for it. Bet on it. Bet all your money on it. Bet your house on it. Luton Town will stay up. Signing players like Chiedozie Ogbeni, Tahith Chong, Issa Kabore, Ryan Giles and Ross Barkley. Now, these are players who have something to prove. They have, especially players like Ross Barkley, who's on the fringe of Chelsea for a couple of years. I think he might do pretty good for Luton Town. He could have a Jesse Lingard season at Nottingham Forest, but I think Ross Barkley is better than Jesse Lingard is. This team will fight to the very end. I think we all know that. This squad is nowhere near Premier League ability. I think they know that, we know that, but we can't underestimate them. They are professional footballers. This is a team they're the real life fairy tale. They are the original fairy tale. They're the original Wrexham. To go from National League to Premier League in 10 years is magnificent. If they can stay up, it's probably going to be one of the biggest sporting achievements ever. 16th, I'm going Everton. I don't think that's really much a surprise. I think Everton's transfer business has been very poor, bringing in only Ashley Young on a free and Danjuma on loan. The guy who rejected them in January for Spurs, of all clubs. But they have Sean Dyche at the wheel, and everything will be fine. They need to do more before the window closes, but for now, they look like they're going to keep their Premier League status. I think the clubs below them haven't done enough to overtake Everton. 15th, I'm going Bournemouth. Again, Bournemouth will have a good season. Last year, they did very well to stay up. Everyone underestimated them, but I think Gary O'Neill did a good job. But bringing in Andoni Iraola, he has something to prove to the English media. Gary O'Neill and Bournemouth parted ways. The media had a bit of a meltdown saying why he didn't deserve this and all that. But I think Iraola has done very well with his incomings, bringing in young Hungarian fullback Kerkez, a permanent move for Ahmed Traore, and as of recording, young English talent Alex Scott for Bristol City looks like a very good player. It'd be very interesting to see how Bournemouth will deal with him. He's adding a young core to a very experienced side. I think Dominic Solanke has a lot to offer this season. Last year, he had an alright season. Maybe not as well as people like Dominic Solanke would have wanted, but I think he has a lot to prove to the English media, a lot to prove to the fan base, a lot to prove to Premier League fans. I think he can reach the heights of 12 to 15 goals a season in the Premier League. But let's see if Iraola can bring exciting football to the southwest of England. 14th, I'm going for Nottingham Forest. I think Nottingham Forest last season, Steve Cooper did a brilliant job at Forest. But they will have a very similar season to this year. Bringing in Matt Turner, Anthony Elanga and Ola Aina, there are great improvements to the squad. Getting rid of players like Jesse Lingard, I think he was on a report at 200k a week. He's not worth the money. He didn't play enough last season to even be worth that money. But now it's all about if they can finalise that move for Dean Henderson. They can bring in Dean Henderson for 25 million. I think it'd be a brilliant move for Forest, and they will stay up again. So Forest fans, be happy because you're staying up in the Prem. 13th, I think Crystal Palace. I don't think there's anyone else who finished 13th other than Crystal Palace. They do it on the regular. They finished that kind of 11th to 13th spot. The football of Roy Hodgson got Crystal Palace playing near the end of the season. It's brilliant. But losing Wilfred Zaha will hit the squad hard when it comes to goal threats. I don't think Edouard is that type of player for them. But if Palace can keep Mikel Olise and Eberechi Eze, going forward will be no problem. It's just about where they will get those goals from. If they can bring in someone to play up front, I think they will have a very good season. 13th is the highest they can finish for me, because everyone else above them just are better squads, better players. So Palace, don't be shocked if you finish 13th this season. 12th, I'm going West Ham. It's an improvement to last season, but losing your club captain and your young star will always affect the team badly. They have Europe again this year. They're in the Europa League. I think they might win it. We'll see about that. But yeah, Declan Rice leaving, 105 million. David Moyes has a lot of money to deal with now, and I think it will affect his rebuild positively. He's already brought in the likes of Edson Alvarez from Ajax to replace Declan Rice. He's bringing in James Ward-Prowse. These are two great incomings for them. It'll be interesting to see how James Ward-Prowse will fit the David Moyes system, but there's no doubt about his range of passing and threat on set pieces. And with it looking like Harry Maguire is on his way to East London, he'll be David Moyes' rock at the back. Minimum 8 clean sheets this season. I don't think West Ham have a lot to prove. I think they'll focus more on Europe. I think 12th is a very good position for West Ham. 11th, I'm going Brentford. I think this will still be a very good season for Brentford. Losing Ivan Toney and David Raya will hurt Brentford a lot this season. Losing a 20-goal season striker like Toney as of January will affect him, but I think he will start to get back in the flow around late February, early March. But I think David Raya, the David Raya loss might be more detrimental. And Bumo can do a job for Brentford up top until January, February. But losing a goalkeeper like David Raya, very good passer, good shot stopper, suits the Brentford playstyle very well. They've replaced him with Flecken. I've not been impressed with him. Maybe he needs more time to adjust. But during pre-season, he didn't impress me much. So 11 for Brentford is fine for them. Vincent Kompany will be Man City's next manager. This Burnley side he has built is nothing short of exciting. We've seen this type of promotion bounce before with Sheffield United, Fulham and Leeds in previous years, but Burnley's football correlates to the Prem in the long term much better than those previous clubs. They probably need to bring in a more star-studded signing, but so far I think Burnley's squad is fine. They brought in Darrell O'Shea, they've brought in a few players who suit the system. There's no doubt Burnley will stay up. It's just about how high will they finish. Ninth, I'm going Brighton. Brighton's European tour will definitely affect their final placement this season, but they shouldn't be disappointed with this finish. Ninth is a very good finish for someone who doesn't usually finish in the top 10. So, go from Europe to ninth. I don't think fans should be disappointed with this finish. If Brighton can regularly finish in the top half and keep players like Caicedo, there's no reason why they can't finish higher. But I think Caicedo will leave and it will ultimately affect their chances of European football 2 years in a row. If they keep Caicedo, you never know. But at the moment, it looks like he's on the way out. 8th, I'm going Spurs. Spurs is a funny one because just like Brighton, a key player could be leaving in Harry Kane. Harry Kane leaves, there's no doubt in my mind they'll finish 12th. Like, this is a 30 goal a season striker. He's irreplaceable. It doesn't matter who you are, Bayern, Barcelona, Real Madrid, losing a 30 goal a season striker is irreplaceable. Under the new manager, I think they will have a good first season. 8 is good for the new manager. But if Kane leaves, I don't even know, man. It's just going to be very difficult. But throughout the season, Spurs will show glimmers of great football. But it won't be enough to finish in Europe, unfortunately, for them. So 8 for Spurs. 7th, I'm going Aston Villa. Aston Villa will be exciting this season. I don't know what Unai Emery's feeding his players in Birmingham, but he's got them playing some beautiful football. Last season, Unai Emery joined a relegation scrap to a 7th place finish. And bringing in the likes of Pau Torres, Moussa Diaby and Yuri Tielemans will only elevate their squad, but they'll finish in the same place as last season. 7th isn't. It's a good finish for Aston Villa. They're relegated, 7 years ago? So 2 consistent 7th place finishes, 2 years of European football. That is a very good finish for them. 6th, I'm going Newcastle. Go from 4 to 6 should not be a disappointing season for Newcastle. European football will take its toll on the squad for sure, but I believe they have the squad to finish 6th with a Champions League quarter-final in them. Bringing in Tonali, Barnes and Livramento are good buys for Newcastle, but losing a player like Alan St-Maximin will be a huge miss off the bench for Newcastle. His flair and skill and being able to get past his fullback is an asset that not many players can do. He's a Riyad Mahrez type of player where there's only a couple players like that in the world who can be that skillful, get past his man, put a cross in. Maybe FFP was a big issue for Newcastle, that's why they had to get rid of him. But I think Barnes will be fine, and Anthony Gordon has a lot to prove this season. Under 21 Euros player of the tournament. He has a lot to prove. 5th, I'm going Chelsea. might be a big shock, but Chelsea for sure are very unpredictable this season. Under Poch, I think the first half of the season will be all about getting the system right, finding his first 11, typical first half of the season manager stuff. And no Europe will benefit Chelsea for sure. Uh, Meaning more training sessions with their new system, getting used to where to be on the pitch. I think tactically this will improve Chelsea. I think Poch is the right man for the first 2-3 years of Chelsea's rebuild. I think around Christmas Chelsea will be 11th or 12th, but they will implode in the second half of the season, going from that position of 11th or 12th to 5th. It's a big ask for a squad, but I think they can do it. I don't think there's going to be much between 11th and top 8 this season. I think it's going to be a very tight season. Top 8 is very unpredictable, but I think Chelsea have enough to do it. I think they have enough to finish 5th. 4th, I'm going Liverpool. I think Liverpool did last season very underwhelming. I think their woes will carry over to this season. Only difference being the midfield three. Bringing in McAllister for only 35 million will probably be the signing of the summer. He will bring more energy to that midfield, while also adding a more attacking threat from deep areas. For me, Szoboszlai has a lot of question marks over his head, especially that price tag of 70 million. But I'm sure he'll be fine. Jurgen Klopp doesn't really mess up with transfers, so I trust him to get this one right. Only worry I have for Liverpool is the back four. Going forward, you can't have anyone better than Trent or Robertson. Their crossing threats, it's just unbelievable. You can't stop it. But defensively, they're a mess. During pre-season, the defence for Liverpool has been pretty bad, conceding 4 goals twice in 5 games. I think their attacking five will carry the team before, just edging Chelsea. I think the attacking five of Jota, Nunez, Gakpo, Salah and Diaz is just unstoppable. Like, not many teams in the world can say they have a better five than Liverpool. If there is a team out there who can do that. Third, I'm going Arsenal. I think Mikel Arteta has done a fantastic job of transforming Arsenal from a disgruntled club to a team that nobody wants to play. Bringing in Rice, David Raya and Timber will only solidify their place in the top 4. But the transfer of Kai Havertz to Arsenal is very interesting. Will we see him play a deeper role as an 8 or 10 and make those deep runs into the box for crosses? Or will we see him be a rotational figure where Jesus is a number 9? Either way, I can't wait to see how Arteta fits him into the squad. I can't wait to see Arsenal play football this year. For our last Champions League spot, I'm going Manchester United. United just edge out Arsenal for me this season. Erik ten Hag's signings this summer have got me excited to see how the football will change from last season. With signings like Onana, Mount and Højlund, we will only see a more possession-based United who can play out from the back a lot more calmly and be more press resistant now that David De Gea is gone. The signing of Mount is interesting to see how he will deal with the pressure of the number 7 and United shirt. Højlund, 72 million. I think his pressing, his speed, his power, he has all the attributes to be a very good striker. It's all about if United can bring in that second striker who he can learn from. First place, no surprises here, Manchester City. Once again, Manchester City are going to dominate the Premier League this season. I know they lost players like Mahrez and Gundogan, but Pep Guardiola is just a massive win in the Premier League. Man City will probably win the league by 12 points and will comfortably be at the top since early December. I don't think Man City can add much to their squad. It's just fantastic football, unstoppable football, especially in that second half of the season when you know they can go 15 games unbeaten. bringing in players like Gvardiol and Kovacic. It's going to be interesting to see how Man City do, and especially in other competitions now that they are officially treble winners. Make sure you like and subscribe, and if you want to see more videos like this, leave a comment down below on what you want to see, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.